Hello there and welcome back to Normal Guy Games. This week we are going to be painting the Shikigami boss from Hametsu. So I really like the look of this particular boss. I think it's really cool looking. It's very unique. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. So let's have a look at it and see how I did this. Why not? So on to the painting. Now the first thing I did is I took some dark jade from Monument Hobbies and I plastered that on all of the bottom part of the miniature here. Now I honestly don't know why I chose purple and dark jade, but in the end it looks actually pretty good because the transition in the end ends up being kind of a sort of a dark purplish color. Now, I didn't cut this footage down much because I just want you to see how I'm doing this. I'm pretty much just slapping it on here as best I can. And then once you get it up to the point where you want to transition, you just start mixing in the next color. And you want to kind of blend that in on the top and the bottom and just keep on putting more of that new color until you get to the point where you like the transition. Now, you can keep pushing the transition both ways if you wish. You could have the gradient as big or as small as you want. For me, I wanted the gradient to be kind of just a small patch in the center. And honestly, I really do, like I said, I like the way that it turns out with that kind of, it almost makes a sort of a Payne's gray color in the center, which is kind of neat. I like the way that it turned out. I like the way that these colors blend together. They stay wet longer, which helps with this process. So moving on, what I did from here is I did some highlights on the purple. Now for this, I mixed a lighter color, a lighter purple, which in this case I used Gene Stealer purple, and I mixed that with the darker purple from Monument Hobbies, and it mixed pretty well. I don't really have any issues with the way that it came together with the highlights. So I do this over all of the raised areas until the point where I am using just only Gene Stealer purple on just a few of the topmost areas here, as you can see. And I just put that Gene Stealer purple in just a couple of areas just to make just a few areas a little more bright and semi-reflective. And I'm also using small brush strokes to kind of give it some texture as well, to kind of make it look a little bit different and worn. Now we're going to do the same thing with the dark jade, just working up lighter and lighter shades of gray. On this one I used a Jungle Mist paint, which is Reaper, and it's very light green, so I only had to use a very small touch of it. I have had mixed results of trying to stretch this paint out and to thin it with just a plain white. So what I've been trying to do is use something that is closer to the base color, at least in the base color same family. And that runs the same gamut for the mid section that's blue there. I mixed some of that Payne's gray with a lighter blue. I want to say it was Cantor blue, and I used that to do the transitions for the blue, but I didn't use very much of it. Most of the highlights and transitioning are the purple and the green. So in this particular case with this scheme, you don't need a whole lot of blue. Now moving on, this is Eshin gray. So I took this gray and I worked my way from Eshin gray on all of the little paper dolls. I forgot what they're called. I'm sorry, I don't remember what the term for them. But what I did is, as you can see, slowly worked my way up to a lighter gray, and even a lighter gray than that. And don't forget the mask. I also used these colors for the mask. And then once I did the lighter gray, hey, I mixed some more light gray into it and did it again until the point in the very last stage here, you get to the point where you're using pretty much white, just plain old white, as you can see here, just to do like the edges and some of the topmost areas. The mask, I did paint the entire mask in white because I wanted it to kind of stand out. And then I did the same thing with the red. I went from a darker red to a lighter red to a lighter red, and there's not a whole lot of red on this. It's just the little symbols on the mask is all. Now moving on from there, what I did is I used Reaper's ebony flesh for the mud at the base, and then I transitioned that with a little bit of Mournfang brown. And while that paint was still wet, I started mixing that Mournfang brown in and on the topmost areas to kind of transition it the same way I did it at the top there with the Shikigami itself. And honestly, I hit it with a coat of Nuln Oil, which I'll spare you the details on that one. Everybody knows how to Nuln Oil. But it turned out really well. I actually like the way this turned out. It's dark, but it's also got some light areas, and the little paper dolls look great. So anyway, that's it for this one. It's plain and simple. So thank you for watching, and we'll definitely see you on the next video.